How much does Google Ads cost? I'm Amy Hebdon with Paid Search Magic, and in this lesson of Learn Google Ads with me, we'll be answering the money questions. Now, money questions can get tricky because there's such a wide range of what you could spend. So it's a little bit like that classic question, how much does a house cost? And while I can't give you the exact dollar amount of what you should be spending, I can give you the tools for how to evaluate if something's a good investment for your business. So let's get started. As always, these lessons are no nonsense and no tech, and hopefully the best search marketing overview you've ever had. Now, Google Ads operates on a cost per click model, and you may have heard people use the acronym CPC or PPC, which means pay per click. These are essentially the same thing. And this means that unlike traditional media, you don't pay for circulation or exposure to your ad, you pay when someone clicks your ad. Now, if we look at our keyword ad landing page sequence from lesson 2, this is where you pay, and this is where Google makes money. So your total spend is the number of clicks your ad gets times the cost per click. Now, it's important to understand this formula, but we can't make it a focus because it's an incomplete view of what's happening with your money. Remember in lesson 1, we said that spending on Google Ads only makes sense if your returns are greater than your spend. So all the decisions we make about spend need to be tempered with what we can expect as a return. So we can't just look at spend without looking at what you're getting back. Now, I've had some very interesting questions about how you make money from Google Ads, so let's clear up any confusion. Google doesn't pay you. Visitors don't pay to check out your website. You get paid when people buy from you. If you're running e-commerce transactions, there's usually an immediate payment, and if you're generating leads, you get paid after they become clients. But the final result of this whole sequence should be that you are positioned to make money. Now, if you already run a business, you have an advantage because you know that not all shoppers are buyers. New business owners sometimes have this fantasy that 100% of visitors will buy from them, which leads to some very generous forecasts and some pretty bad math. Since you pay for 100% of clicks your ads get, and you get paid on a fraction of visits to your website, your goal is to only get clicks from people that are likely to buy from you. Spend happens here. Return happens here. This is one of the most important relationships you'll find in Google Ads. If you can get a low cost for your ads, but those clicks aren't from buyers, it won't be worth it for you. You don't want to pay money here unless there's a great chance you'll get more money back here. Let's imagine that our offer is this suitcase made from high-end anodized aluminum. Now, notice that the suitcase is $1,000. What happens if we run an ad that shows up when someone searches for suitcase? Well, our ad is competing with a huge range of options, from a $65 suitcase to a suitcase that's more than $800. And our audience that's searching for suitcases is pretty broad. Some of them are looking for the cheapest option, and some people might click our ad because they want to see what's so special about a $1,000 suitcase, even if they'd never actually spend money on it. Do you get the sense that our ratio of clicks to buyers on this keyword might be kind of small? Now let's get more descriptive. We can use the keyword anodized aluminum suitcase. Check out the results we get. And these are real screenshots, by the way. Suddenly, our $1,000 product isn't just in range, it's on the low end. Turns out there's a $2,000 anodized aluminum suitcase and a $3,700 anodized aluminum suitcase. There are way fewer people searching for this keyword, but the ones who are can expect to spend 4 figures on a suitcase. The likelihood of making a sale from anodized aluminum suitcase goes way up compared to just suitcase. So how much will this click cost us? The cost you pay for a click on your ad is largely set by an auction, which means that the more valuable the keyword is, the more you'll typically pay. Now, full disclosure, this is not the only factor that determines your cost per click, and we'll look at another factor in lesson 4. But for now, let's explore the idea that a keyword that's valuable to you is most likely valuable to your competitors. So the auction for clicks is going to drive up the costs. All the other high-end suitcase manufacturers also want the anodized aluminum suitcase clicks. This is just basic economics. The higher the payout, the more the competition. If you have high-ticket offers, expect to pay a lot more for your most valuable keywords. There are industries where $100 a click is not uncommon. Now, for low-ticket offers, the auction generally stays pretty low, since at a certain point it stops being profitable or even cost-efficient to pay for clicks. So now that you know the rule, let's get a little more nuanced and show you some exceptions. So here's a client where we have a bid of 15 cents a click. We're not willing to go higher than that, but we're only paying an average of 2 cents a click. So year-to-date spend on this keyword set is less than $5,000. Revenue is $3.7 million. That means for every dollar they spend on clicks, they made over 800. Sometimes cheap clicks are very profitable. On the flip side, sometimes more expensive clicks aren't very profitable. The same auction can have different value for different participants. So let's say a parcel of land were up for sale and you want to buy it and build a treehouse, but a commercial real estate firm also wants to buy it for a high-rise. It's worth a lot more to them, so they're going to pay more and win the auction. We see this kind of imbalance with a lot of marketplaces like Groupon, TripAdvisor, Upwork, or Amazon. Just like with our land example, the potential upside for an independent hotel that wins the click is a lot smaller than if Hotels.com wins the click. Hotels.com has a lot more inventory and availability and options that increase the chance that a visitor will see something that fits their requirements and book with them. It doesn't mean that smaller independent companies can't compete in the auction, but you do need to be aware that marketplaces or companies with bigger ad budgets can potentially create an unlevel playing field. Now, the other thing to know is that there is no minimum budget. You don't have to sign a contract or an insertion order committing to any set spend. You can launch with a small budget and then scale up as you refine your campaigns. Now, that said, I don't want to contribute to the myth that you can spend $10 to make 50, then 100, and just exponentially grow your revenue till you're the world's richest human. There's no guarantee that any business that invests money will see a positive return. It obviously depends on a lot of factors like your revenue per sale, your order rate, your profit margins, your competition, and of course your ad costs. Now, everyone who gets started with Google Ads has this question: how much do I need to spend? And we've covered a lot of ground when it comes to answering it. You know that there's no minimum budget, that the keywords that are valuable to your business are generally going to be valuable to your competitors. You know that high-ticket offers tend to have keywords that end up with a higher cost per click than low-ticket offers. You also know that a marketplace with more inventory will tend to have more upside from ad clicks than independent sellers with more limited offerings. And you know that you always pay for clicks, and you sometimes sell your products and services as a result of those clicks. You know all of this without any math, calculations, or formulas, and I cannot overstate how important it is to understand this at a fundamental level. With Google Ads, you're not playing a game of how to get traffic or how to get the lowest CPCs. You're trying to get clicks that are most valuable to your business. If you're just starting in Google Ads, the biggest questions on your mind are going to be how much will I make and what do I need to spend? Now, the bad news is you won't know that in advance. You don't know how a play is going to turn out before you even make the play. But the good news is you don't need to know that in advance. As long as you understand these principles, you can optimize as you go for better returns over time. Now, we've got an entire lesson dedicated to optimization coming right up. But if you haven't grabbed your free Learn Google Ads with Me activity book, click the link in the description to get all the exercises in the series. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next lesson.